realise they're dealing with a socialist scoundrel, and it's rumbled. And I'm very, very happy to see it, although I'm quite sure you're right, that the chap that they put in, if you scrape the surface, you'll find another scoundrel and socialist.
I mean, that's the problem. The people don't want big government. They don't want tyranny, but it just continues. And now Obama has the lowest approval rating of any president 1 year into his administration. It's right down at 40% and plunging. But, I mean, I guess the good news is the people are trying to reject it in Europe, in England, in the United States. And more, the bureaucracy is hanging on by its fingernails. And more people are becoming aware that the European Union really is an illegitimate institution.
Yes, you're absolutely right. What I think that we need to do, both we here and you over there, of course, it was a very strong Democratic seat in Massachusetts, and we all know that. And I have to say, I regard a very suspicious family who've been running it for some time, but that's by the by. What I would suggest is that those people who swung, those people who used to vote Democrat and no longer do, and voted Republican, it's not just enough to vote Republican or vote for change. You have to write to the Democratic Party and those in power and tell them why you did it. Otherwise, they will go on believing it's an accident.
We're going to come back from break and continue along that line. And we're going to also get into what happened at Copenhagen and how the enemy's regrouping. Stay with us.
We all know that the Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 4 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water systems. The revolutionary Berkey light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and re-cleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels, and removes harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $209, and the Berkey Guy will include 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and ship everything to you free of charge. That's right, 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and free shipping, an $87 value, yours free, but only for a limited time. Just call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653 now to order. That's 1-877-886-3653, or order online now at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Gold isn't for you? Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources, one of the world's premier gold and precious metal investing firms. I get it. You wouldn't buy gold if you believed that the government is doing a great job, that the Fed will stop handing out trillions of dollars like bailout candy, that Social Security would be there for you. That's not what's happening. You might even pass on gold if the stimulus package wouldn't fuel inflation, or that the dollar wouldn't lose value, or that your retirement would be secure. If all looks rosy to you, then now is not the time to buy gold. For the realist, there have never been more sobering reasons to diversify with gold. Since 2001, the U.S. dollar index has tanked 30% while gold has risen 300%. Right now, savvy investors are adding gold to their portfolios. You should too. Find out what they know. Call us and I'll send you 10 reasons why gold will do very well. Free. 800-686-2237.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Hounded by debt collectors with phone calls and letters? Thinking of calling a debt relief company? Don't. Greedy lawyers and debt companies charge thousands. Why pay when you can get their solution absolutely free with New York Times best-selling author Herb Kay's #1 debt secret, the how-to on stopping the calls without paying the debt companies. Yes, free for a very limited time. Here's Herb K.
Don't get ripped off by credit repair companies when I can give you the information you need to do it yourself for free.
Herb K was right. His free information helped me stop the calls and settle my debt.
What have you got to lose? Stop the calls now, get out of debt, and have more money. Get Herb K's #1 debt secret absolutely free now. Call 888-352-7726. That's 888-352-7726. 888-352-7726.
Member of the European Parliament from England, Godfrey Bloom, is our guest for the rest of the hour. Honored to have him joining us. If you look at how these bureaucracies operate, it's almost identical. And the people send a message to Washington, hey, Bush, we don't like your big government corruption, your Patriot Act. So they put Obama in. A lot of Republicans voted for him. And then they go, oh, my God, this is even worse. And then we'll get another Republican and it'll get it even worse. And England has been going through this forever, longer than us. And that's what the UKIP, the UK Independence Party, is all about. They're now one of the biggest parties in England, gaining ground because the people have figured out that the Tories or the Conservatives put out different rhetoric, but they're owned by the same special interest as Labour. And so the people of England are really starting to wake up. And so we can learn lessons from what they've gone through in England. Am I accurate in saying that, Mr. Bloom?
Indeed you are. One of the problems that we have, I'm a financial economist by profession, and I sit on the Economic Affairs Committee, and it was interesting that the biggest party in the United Kingdom is the Conservative Party, and I was taken aside this very afternoon and being told to stop rocking the boat. I was being too forceful at meetings, so on and so forth. So the establishment are now starting to run scared. But what do we have a real problem here, and I don't quite know how we're going to deal with this, and this is a problem that I haven't solved and we haven't solved, is the amount of disinformation or lack of information that they get back in the United Kingdom. So, for example, today I'm talking to you about our new commissars who are going to now be responsible for 75% of the laws made in the United Kingdom. But most people still don't really know that. And, of course, we have public service broadcasting, the BBC, who had an absolutely magnificent record in the war for telling the truth, even when the truth hurt, of course, have been completely subverted by this place. What most people listening in England to your show, and that there are many, won't know, for example, is that the European Commission Bank has lent the BBC €100,000 on an interest-free basis. Now, they won't know that. There's all sorts of things. The swine flu thing you've been talking about is interesting as well. They are still advertising in England the swine flu vaccination, although everybody knows it to be bad, fraudulent, and a scare that never actually happened. But in the United Kingdom, what is becoming common knowledge now, even in Germany and France, I have to tell you, is not common knowledge in the United Kingdom. And I spotted this 6 months ago when I said this swine flu was a great scam, and none of the English newspapers would handle it because it was too hot to handle. Because if I'd been wrong, and of course everybody had died of swine flu, they would be held liable. So I couldn't get the story away. So most ordinary people in England have no idea that swine flu is a scam.
Well, I want to talk more about that, and what this European Union Commission is saying, because they're actually doing the right thing. Their own doctors and people coming out saying this is a fraud, and there's talk of indictments with some of the World Health Organization people involved making profits. It's come out that more than 50% of the government experts hired by the federal government were making hundreds of thousands of dollars apiece as employees or consultants to the vaccine makers. I mean, this is classic fraud. But going back to what you just said, the average Brit, because we talk to them, we have a lot of listeners over there that listen on the internet and shortwave and satellite, they say their neighbors still don't even know that the European Union is run by a bunch of unelected bureaucrats, and they don't even know that they're making at least 75% of the laws and rulings. Same thing here. Since 2005, we've been under SPP, Security Prosperity Partnership. The internal documents have been released. We are under a North American Union with a private governing council and bureaucrats from Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. They're setting even the color of highway signs, where these inland ports are, trade deals, all these special